So this video covers section 1 for the tutorial for the Material Science Machine Learning Workshop at University of Utah. To begin with, we're going to go through installing Python 3 using the Anaconda installation. And this is for Windows, so if you have like Ubuntu or if you're running on like a Mac or something, it should be similar, but some of these things might vary a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. I just never used either of those systems much. After we talk about installing Anaconda and making sure we've gotten to the right website and run through that, once that's installed, it might be quite a little while. I think it's about 500 megabytes or something. We can open up Jupyter Notebook, which is the software you see here. It runs through your web browser. So this is my Chrome web browser. And it lets you do all of the coding we'll need to do. So we can open up Jupyter Notebook and make sure that that's working for you once we've got Anaconda done. And then we'll go through each of the packages we are going to be using for the rest of the tutorial. And we'll run some code. I've got the code here in this box. And this will just make sure that, well, it'll tell us what packages we have and what packages we're missing. And then finally, I'll show you how if you're missing a package, and you might, with the Anaconda installation, you'll probably be missing just this one here, the PyMatGen. And I'll show you how to install that using Pip Install. It's real simple, real easy. For some cases, you need administrative privileges depending on, I think, where the Python installation was put. So first things first, on this tutorial, you can click this link right here, and that'll open up the Anaconda distribution. And we want to use Python 3.6, so we'll go ahead and download that, and you can choose, if you're on a 64-bit system, which you probably are, you can go ahead and choose that. If you're not sure, click here to learn more, and you can figure it out. Also, you can just Google, how to check if I'm a 64 or 32-bit system. This should be pretty straightforward. So you'll go ahead and download it. Now, I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to go through all the effort of that, but you go ahead and download it and follow the instructions there. It's straightforward. After which, and if you have questions and you need anything, you can go ahead and send me screenshots, and I'll see what I can do. It's been a while since I've installed Python, but my memory is that it's an easy process. So once you've installed it, let's go ahead and open up Jupyter Notebook. It'd be good to just kind of play around really briefly in here. So I open it up through the command prompt, and I just type in Jupyter Notebook. Now with the Anaconda distribution, you should be able to also find it in your programs, but I seem to have accidentally deleted that link. So you can see I've opened up Jupyter Notebooks, and here I'm going to choose the folder I want to do my stuff in. So in this case, I'll go to Desktop, I'll go to Machine Learning Workshop, and then let's go ahead and create a new folder. So new folder, then we'll get into that new folder, we'll create a new file, so a new Python 3 notebook. Here we can rename it tutorial example. So now that's the name of our notebook, so it'll save with that file name. And then we can try something like this, 1+1, and we'll hit Shift Enter or Control Enter to run the code. Either one works. You can see 1+1 has an output of 2. So you can also do, the classic print, hello world, all of that good stuff. You can see you can interact with it pretty basically here. Now what I want to do is, let's make sure that this code works to check if we have all of our packages. So I can just click in this box, Control A, Control C, paste that in here. And when I run this, it goes through the libraries I have and checks what packages I have. So it says currently I have matplotlib with this version, Numpy version 1.14.0, etc., etc. And it says I'm only missing example missing package. So I know that's not a real package. So if that's the only one that shows up, that's great. Expect for PyMatGen to also show up. So once we've done this, and in fact, let me show you what it looks like if it doesn't show up. So let's talk about this. So once you have checked what packages are there, the missing packages, you can use what's called pip. It's another built-in package. You can use pip to install things really quickly and really easily. And pip will come with the Anaconda distribution. And the reason we're using Anaconda is if you don't use it, you have to grab all of these packages manually, which it's not a big deal, but it's nice to have most things built in so you don't have to download them or suddenly realize you don't have them when you, at inopportune times. But we're going to use pip, so pip install package name. And I'm going to try it briefly, so I'm going to open up my command prompt as an administrator. This is just something I have to do on the way I've installed it. I'm not sure if that's true for everyone. So I can do pip install. In this case, I think I can do uninstall first, PyMatGen. So it's saying, do I really want to uninstall this? I'm going to go ahead and hit yes and hope it doesn't break all of my code. Okay, so now, we'll worry about that later. Now let's run this code again and see if PyMatGen, it should appear in the uninstalled. And what happened is we're going to have to restart. I believe we have to reload the kernel. There we go. You're missing the following packages: example missing package and PyMatGen. So what happened there is the last time I ran it, PyMatGen was installed, and then when I told it to run again, it was trying to run the instance when it was installed still, I think. But once we restarted the kernel, it looks like it's fine, and it reads that we don't have it. So we'll go back in here and I'll show you how to do the pip. It's just pip install PyMatGen. Then easy as that, it'll go through and collect all of that, all the information we need to run. And this is the API for the materials project, and they have a convenient function that I want to use, which is the main reason we're grabbing it. Let's check this again. We'll restart the kernel, and if we run this, there we go. We now have the most recent installation of PyMatGen right there. Perfect. So that's just a little example of how you can put stuff into Jupyter Notebook. If you're really new, I can spend a small video going over some of the simple things like strings or integers or floats. You can see that there's a list here for I and installed package, or not a list, sorry, like a loop, for loops, while loops, that kind of stuff. There's really good programming tutorials out there, and I have a couple of them linked, so we can talk about that in a little while if you need it. So we've kind of covered how to use pip just very briefly. You can follow the links, and then also as you're installing these packages, we're going to use just the smallest fraction of the capabilities for a lot of these packages. If you're curious what they do, or the kind of applications you can use them for, you should definitely read through their documentation. I can tell you right now, you'll almost always use NumPy if you're doing any sort of scientific computing. NumPy handles matrices and arrays really well. It also has a lot of built-in math functions. Pandas is great for handling data frames, so I think of it like anything you can do in Excel you can do in Pandas, except it's not quite as good at visualizing the data. Again, PyMatGen, that's a interface for the Python Materials Genomics project or something like that. Yeah, there's tons of stuff you can do with that, and we're going to use just one function from it. Seaborn, it's super useful for visualizing data. It's a good statistics tool. Matplotlib plots your data. Scikit-learn, that's the brains of this machine learning operation. All of the algorithms and a lot of the data pre-processing is going to come from there. So that should cover kind of getting you started. In the next video, we'll talk about grabbing the material data and handling it and all of that stuff. Thank you.